and he's my teacher and my mentor as well, not only a friend. So when this happened, we decided to make this screening as a tribute to him, and to show his short film. I wish I could show. There is, for those who don't know, that this is the final version of the film, but there were another version that is the pre-final version of the film that was actually selected to Rotterdam, but we decided to end it with this version. And it was mainly made with the voices of two persons, Yasser Alwan and Maria Goulier. So Yasser is, and as you see, that the voiceover person is conducted of 19 interviews, and number 1 was Yasser actually. And I think those who understand Arabic see also the overlap between the content of the film and the content of Yasser film and the content of Crop. I hope that these films, Surah for sure more than even Crop, keep Yasser present as well as his pictures. And I hope that his pictures, and even I got more chances in the future to show the other version with his voice. So yeah, that's just a brief introduction about what I want to say and why I'm here today. But I'm happy to hear from you, and then once Karim is around, I don't know if he's, okay, once he's around, if he have also a question or something. But also I told him that we want to talk about Yasser today. So.
مش مهم على فكرة، كان صغير. طيب هنتكلم. أولاً بشكر حضرتك، فيلم رائع. أنا كنت محظوظة إنه أنا اتفرجت على النسخة الأولانية القديمة من الفيلم واتفرجت على النسخة دي. طبعاً أول حاجة بشكرك عن الفيلم عظيم بالنسبة لي، أنا يعني بحب الفيلم ده قوي. بس أنا الحقيقة حبيت الفيرجن الأولانية أكتر. بدون أي انحياز، مش عشان ياسر صديقي، بالعكس خالص يعني. لا، لأنه الفيلم الأولاني مش حسيته أقل مباشرة وكان يوصل للقلب أكتر. أنا فاهمة ليه الفيلم ده قد يكون له جمهوره اللي قد يحبه أكتر، بس أنا الحقيقة الفيلم الأولاني حسيته في مكان تاني خالص. بس ده كان ده تعبير.
أولا يعني كنت ساتشوريت، فمش هقول الفيلم ده عمل فينا ايه، بس رجع ذكريات أليمة وحزينة وسعيدة وميكس اوف ايموشنز، فشكرا. سؤالي تكنيكال بحت. لما جيتوا صورتوه في حاجة زي الأهرام، وضع الكاميرا كان دايما تحس فلاي اون ذا وول بجد، اللي هو مفيش أي حد شايفها ولا هي شايفة حد، وستاتيك جدا جدا. ازاي وصلتوا لده تكنيكلي في حتة زي الأهرام وقت ما صورتوها؟ أكيد كان 2012 2013 حاجة زي كده. ازاي سمحوا لكم؟ هل كانوا عارفين انكم بتصوروا ولا مش عارفين، ولا how did you pull it off؟
اوكي، يعني النهارده 28 يناير يعني طبعا النهارده برضه 28 يناير والفيلم النهارده كده برضه شيء مهم بالنسبه لي. الجزء التكنيكال ليه علاقه احنا صورنا ازاي. انا عندي 34 سنه، الفيلم ده بقاله 9 سنين، فانا كان عندي 25 سنه. كنت لسه متخرج بقالي سنتين من الجامعه، وانا وهنا اتعرفنا على بعض سنه قبل البريمير في فبراير ويناير 2012، وقت اللي حصل في بورسعيد. وابتدينا نشتغل على المشروع دوت. ووقت ما ابتدينا نشتغل على المشروع كان عندنا سؤال بسيط خالص، هو يعني مين اللي بيتحكم في الصوره؟ مين اللي بيقرر الصوره اللي تتنشر والصوره اللي ما تتنشرش؟ وفي اللحظه ديت ما كانش عندنا فيلم خالص، بس كان عندنا انا خريج كليه فنون تطبيقيه قسم تصوير السينما جامعه حلوان. فكنت بروح معمل مش عارف لسه موجود ولا لا في وسط البلد اسمه عنتر فوتوغرافيا، كنت بروح احمض الافلام بتاعتي هناك. فكنا احنا قاعدين في مكان جنب عنتر، فرحت على طول ابتديت اخد شويه كونتاكتس المصورين عشان نروح نتكلم معاهم. بس كمان انا عارف ياسر من 2008، فابتدينا ان احنا نروح للناس نتكلم معاهم على مين اللي بيتحكم في الصوره. I'm sorry that I speak in Arabic, but يعني when the question will come in Arabic, I will answer in Arabic. Sorry. فاللي حصل إن أنا ابتديت في واحدة من الانترفيوهات رحنا الأهرام، كنا بنعمل انترفيو مع أستاذ عارف سعد الدين. هو كان رئيس قسم الفوتوغرافيا في الأهرام ساعتها، وهو كان رئيس قسم التصوير سنة 2010 وقت الصورة بتاعت مبارك اللي اتحرك مع أوباما وكان في الصورة قدام. فالفكرة يوهنا في الوقت دوت قلنا هو اللي بيتحكم في الصورة هو عفريت احنا مش عارفينه، يمكن هو المصنع ده، مصنع البيروقراطية، مصنع الدولة، مصنع الأهرام كممثل يعني. ففاكر احنا قعدنا كتبت ورقة أنا ويوهنا كده خطاب لرئيس مجلس إدارة مؤسسة الأهرام بنطلب منه إن احنا نصور جوه المؤسسة، وحطينا صورة بطاقتنا وباسبوراتنا، طلبنا من جوتا إن هم يعملوا لنا ورقة كده. أنا فاكر قعدت 3 شهور كنت بروح كل أسبوع للراجل بتاع السكرتارية اللي تحت، هو المبنى عملاق زي ما أنت شفت، بروح للراجل السكرتارية اللي تحت أقول له أنا عملت جواب، فيقول لي أنت مين يا ابني؟ يعني اتكل على الله يا حبيبي. فروح تاني الأسبوع الجاي ما كانش فيه تليفون بيدوني بس رقم تليفون أرضي. فقعدت تقريبا 3 شهور بعمل كده بالظبط كل أسبوع. كانت يوهنا خلاص مشيت سافرت رجعت ألمانيا، وبعد كده كلموني قالوا لي أوكي، كلموني في شهر 6 2012 قالوا لي أوكي أنت ممكن تيجي تصور الفيلم. فكلمت يوهنا قلت لها إحنا هنصور الفيلم يلا نبتدي نشتغل.
سوري كنت قايل لهم إيه اللي هتصوره؟
قلت لهم احنا ساعتها الصوره ما كانش عندنا طبعا، يعني زي ما قلت حتى النسخه اللي اتبعتت لروتردام كان بصوت ياسر وصوت ماريا، فاحنا لغايه اخر لحظه كنا لسه مش متاكدين الفيلم شكله عامل ازاي. اللي قلنا شيء اللي احنا كنا متاكدين منه، ان مؤسسه الاهرام مؤسسه تمثل دوله في حد ذاتها، من اول الراجل اللي بيعمل سندوتشات للاسانسيرات لا، فاحنا عايزين نصور توثيق للمؤسسه دي. ده اللي عندنا في الصوره دي. اكيد ما قلنا لهمش ان دوت بيمثل كنترول على الصورة، أكيد ما قلناش الحتة ديت. وابتديت هنا صديقي هشام سلوم موجود مساعد المخرج بتاعي، قعدنا احنا ما كانش معانا فلوس برضه خالص. ابتدينا ننزل نصور فوتوغرافيا لكل كل المباني كل الرومز لغاية لما قررنا ايه الأماكن اللي هتتصور، وخدنا موافقة إمضائية من رئيس مجلس إدارة رجوعا بقى يعني النقطة بتاعتك إن احنا نقدر نصور في المكان ده. فاحنا كنا ماشيين في المبنى بنصور، ومعانا واحد من الموارد البشريه الHR، ومعانا الكاميرا واحنا كرو 4. فهم كل ما نخش في اي حته وفاكرين ان رئيس مجلس الاداره هو اللي بنصور ده عشان هو يشوفهم. فبقى الاداء ان احنا لازم نشتغل كويس قوي، لازم نتجاهل وجودكم كلكم، ان احنا لو الراجل شافنا احنا بنهزر او بنتكلم احنا هيبقى في مشكله. فاحنا كنا بنحط الكاميرا وهم بيشوفوا الورقه دي الناس بتشتغل، والراجل اللي معاهم بالبدله بتاع الموارد البشريه كنا بنسيب الكاميرا 10 دقايق ربع ساعه ثلث ساعه، لدرجه ان هم بعد شويه بيبتدوا يمكن ينسوا ان احنا موجودين او ما ياخدوش بالهم ان هم جزء من الفريم. وهو الفيلم كله معمول من وجهه نظر مصور، فكانت اللقطات الثابته والطويله جوه المكان دوت يمكن شويه كمان من وجهه النظر دي.
يعني you talked about the overlap between your movie and Yasser's movie, and I'm very curious if you can explain what was the influence of Yasser's work and philosophy of photography on your own work. Thank you.
Give you the mic. Okay, as I mentioned before, that I know Yasser from maybe 2008 or 2009 through his website. I just saw the website. I was a student at that time, and I was amazed by his images. And I just tried to him an email that I love your work. I would like to meet you. And usually these people doesn't respond, you know. But he was very decent, very nice, and he came back to me and tells me like, yeah, let's catch up. So we spent years before the revolution, 2 years at least before the revolution, we met each, I don't know, 6 months. He's not in social media, so it was only emails connecting us. I was even remembering now that there were another film that I did in 2010, and I was thinking, what if he shot this film as director of photography to my film, and he was very open actually, and I was like, oh wow, like he's quite much more experienced than me. Why he believe and why he want to support? So I think there's a lot of impact on the film from Yasser. A lot of it is also like subconsciously that I was very much kind of amazed with his work since I was in the second or third year of my university. But then when we start developing this project, so Johanna, she's from Germany, she don't know one. Yasser, there were a lot of influence from him was subconsciously about how I was raised or educated as a filmmaker myself. But also as Johanna, she had very limited background about Egypt. So I introduced her to Yasser and tell her, this is his film, show him what he did, and let's catch up with him. So as we were doing a lot of interviews, we managed to do an interview with him. And we were both amazed that he had a lot of what he mentioned during the interview that was for us very fundamental, very interesting, very much to the point about what we were trying to trigger within our projects. Even I think like, yeah, the song of Abdel. So we use it in the two, we use it as he used it before us, for sure, in his film. So there is a huge impact, and that's why I think the film we started at the idea that the voice will be all the 19 photographs. And then it was too distracting that you hear a lot of people that you don't see, because we were defining from day one that we will not see the people that we are interviewing. But then we thought, okay, what if we make it a bit more simplified? And Yasser was one of two people with Maria, that the two was the most two representative to what we were trying to say. So even I remember that we went back to Yasser after we did this interview in the beginning, and we asked him to do more intense interview with him to add more details that could be part of the voiceover of the film. That 50%, I think, at least of it, was part of this previous version to that one. So, and this final version, still, he's very much part of it. He's very much, I think his soul, his ideas, his thoughts, his words, is very much part of it. So, so that's why I cannot define really what's his impact on the film and how much he's part of the film, but I think he's the first one to name on the people that I think have a huge influence in this project. And then Maria Gulia, I would say that they are 1 and 2. Yeah, and like he's a personal friend of me and my wife, who is also, I was just telling Manar that when this happened, so I go to the Facebook, to the YouTube, and I found the film. There's another English version of this film if someone want to hear Yasser film in English. And the film doesn't have, in the film have comments on YouTube, only 3 comments. One of them is through my wife, and she writes exactly, it was 9 years ago, her comment. And she writes, this is absolutely perfect. So this is exactly how Yasser have an impact, not only in me, I think, in my family. I cannot tell to my daughter until now that the dinosaur have passed away. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I think there is just a صوت كده مش ظابط unfortunately. I'm very sorry for the technical issues happening here.
If anyone have another question,
So for the interviews, I felt that the whole story was kind of talking about the personal point of view of you and Johanna, and I want to understand how did the interviews help change the vision of how you narrate the story.
Okay, so the film starts because I think most of the people doesn't see the first 2 minutes of the film. The first 2 minutes of the film, the narrator says, my name is Hussein, my name is Yasser, my name is Sharif, my name is Ahmed. I don't remember my name. And then he starts narrating his story. So the names is not the case. We were more driving to the stories behind these names. So that's not our voice. What we managed tried the most to do cast pieces from these 19 interviews, and what we add is only the transitions between these voices, and trying to put them in an arrangement that make a kind of starting from Nasser time, ending with the revolution. But it is not our voices at all. It is and then we ask the actor and great friend Hani Naby to act this voice that we write as a script, which is exactly edited from these 19 interviews. And again, as I mentioned, was mainly Yasser and Maria, with bits and pieces from other names, great people. Naby, who lost his eye in Mahalla in 2008. Hussam Diab, the great photographer and the head of the Masr Al-Yawm newspaper at the time of the revolution, and Masrawi. And his father is Hassan Diab, the photographer of Nasser, one of the photographers of Nasser. Farouk Ibrahim, the private photographer of Sadat, and many others. Ahmed Zidan, the photographer of the Blue Crab picture that we all know about, and many others. Antro, the Greek Armenian photographer, and his son, where he had this selfie picture, the poster one with Sadat. That's a picture of this guy, Antro, that we also took.
As a follow-up, just to make sure that I understand clearly, so it's a compilation of like the different 19 stories of the interview. Like it's like yes, one narrator, but yet 19 different stories.
Yes,
right?
they were edited on paper, scripted after we interview the people. So we write the highlights of the best parts of the interviews, and then we ask an actor to read this out loud.
I'm interested to know the choice of retelling the narration with one voice. Was it purely an artistic decision, or was it also for safety maybe?
It was not for safety. At that moment, we could do whatever.
It's not like a censorship thing. It was more like an artistic choice.
Again, I don't mind which other version, but as a filmmaker, there's a very important part that me and Johanna was missing. That's why we end up with this version, even if we really like the other version.
Okay, so the other version had the voices, the real voices.
Yes, it was having two voices, but it was mainly about information.
Okay.
That Yasser or Maria or Amr, Naby or Hussam telling information, but we were not having time for their emotional or their personal motivation behind that. So we decided to bring this because that was a one person that have a struggle, I have a conflict, I have a journey that you could start with and you could end with. So it was mainly a purely for dramatic, not even creative purpose, for dramatic purpose, to have a story that you could listen in a radio, in a voiceover, and it sound as a one story from A to Z, and it all comes together. That's why we end up with this. And the other one was more information, which was more authentic, because the people who own the information are the one who delivered the information, but it was less dramatic. So we decided for a bit more dramatic than a bit more informative, let's say.
I have a question. It's a very basic / stupid question. It's stupid, basically. If I were to ask you, what was the aim behind, when you started this project as a team, what did you want to highlight? What was the message that you wanted to frame?
So I was 25 years old, and 6 months before the revolution, I was one of the people who helped Mohammed al-Baradei making the videos that was distributed online. And I remember at this moment of time, we go to Baradei and we don't know if we will go out home or where. But I think also, I studied photography as I mentioned, and I don't have a one single picture from the revolution. I was not able at this stage to take any one single picture. I was too overwhelmed. I was too happy just to share to the people and go in the streets. And when I meet Johanna, it was a moment that everyone was going in the square, going with their cameras, and I was just going around and I tell her, I cannot make something about this. It's too big than me. So we were together trying just maybe to step back, that we are both interested in photography, that what about we do a film about someone that his job suddenly end up that he's documenting such an event or analyzing such an event, And I remember Farouk Ibrahim, the private photographer of Sadat, was saying that if he see garbage on the street, he will not shoot it because he knows that this picture will not be published. Why he will shoot it? So we were trying to say that we were kind of these people on the square that they will not shoot us. But then in one day, they were getting the orders to shoot us. So we're just thinking about these people that was behind this camera and how their position changed. And I was doing this film with Johanna to discuss it nowadays and to discuss it when I'm 50 years old. That people could at least remember and have a certain glimpse of hope. Even if things are not working perfectly, we don't yet accept our picture unfiltered, as it was mentioned here. But at least to keep saying this, that I think we will not be a better country except if we accept our images unfiltered.
What do you think the importance of remembering is? يعني why is it important to remember in a society يعني?
I think this is a huge big question. Remember to learn, remember to give gratitude, remember to appreciate, remember to learn in the future. Remember to have hope for something might be better. It's part of humans.
Will you project the first version of the film sometime? Will you present the first version of the film sometime, or this is the one that will be?
I mean, like we were planning and we were trying today to show this other version.
Okay.
Today, instead of this one.
Yeah.
But we just decided this last week. And as we work in Egypt, censorship needs 3 weeks to approve a film, even if it was approved. But just to change the voiceover, even if with the same content, it's a new film for them.
Yeah.
So we were kind of obliged to show this version today. But I will be very happy to be present and present the other version, or like even to show it without me. For yes, for sure, I would love this to happen. We just try to do our best with this kind of opportunity by showing, with Manar we decided to show Surah with crop, as we were not able to show the other version by itself. But definitely I wish that we get more chances to show the other version.
Thank you.
عندي سؤال هسأله بالعربي. في الصورة حسيت إنه كل الناس اللي شفناهم معظمهم بنسبة كبيرة قوي منهم كانوا رجالة، وصور الستات كانوا قليل قوي لما بيظهروا. فعايز أعرف هل ده مثلا تفتكر بسبب إن في علاقة ما بين الشخص اللي بيصور والناس اللي بتتصور، إنه الدايلوج نفسه حتى لو مش متقال أسهل لو ما بين راجلين عن ما بين راجل وست، ولا عشان معظم الناس اللي متصورة كانوا ناس بتشتغل بإيديهم وناس بتشتغل بإيديهم وباينة قوي في الشارع هي رجالة مش ستات؟
ممكن نجاوب معاصرة
مش عارف والله هعمل ايه السؤال.
لا يعني ممكن نفكر فيه كلنا.
هو في حاجتين يعني، اولا انه ياسر كان ما بيصورش حد غير لما هو يعرفه، يعني ما بيصورش قليل جدا هتلاقي حاجات الباس ستوب كده الناس اللي هو ما يعرفهمش، كان لازم بيبني علاقه كده مع الناس. دي حاجه. الحاجه الثانيه انه هو اوريدي كان في صعوبه ان الرجاله دول يقدروا يتصوروا. الستات فيما عدا ام رضا او ستات اللي هم في الدوائر معارف يعني ما كانوش خالص. ام رضا دي اللي هي الست اللي بتاعت الخضار ما كانوش بيرضوا يتصوروا خالص. هو كان يعني هو دايما كان عنده المشكله دي، هو كان نفسه يبقى عنده العلاقه دي، وكان نفسه يبقى عنده ان هو يبقى ينفع يصور ستات اكتر. بس ده كان يعني واحده من يعني الستراجلز الكتيره قوي اللي ما عرفش ينجح فيها يعني. فهي مش يعني هي ليها علاقه برضو بالداينامكس بتاعت المجتمع
ما هي بس كنت عايزة أعرف هل هي داينامكس المجتمع عامة ولا هي داينامكس المصور مع الشخص اللي بيصور؟ هي ربي الاثنين في بعض.
لا هي داينامكس المجتمع يعني. لو هو كان ست كان ممكن يعرف يعني، لو هو كان ست بنفس الدماغ يعني كان هيعرف يصور ستات، بس ما كانش سهل يعني، مش سهل.
ممكن ازود حاجه على الحته الاخيره، انه كان عايز يصور دار ايتام بنات،
ايوه
we didn't work out عشان برضو اللي هو شكلهم هيظهر وبتاع
ايوه هو كان عنده
يصور
مثلا
بنات.
ايوه من ضمن المشاريع اللي حاول يعملها مع امين ان هو يصور دار ايتام بنات صغيره، وبعد ما كان خلاص بادئ في القصه وكان في مساعدات جامده جدا يعني وكده رفضوا لانه هيصور بنات وسمعتهم وشكلهم.
If there's no more question,
I'm curious as a filmmaker, what's your next project? يعني بكل طاقتك دي your emotions اللي حاضرة قوي we can all feel it. What do you feel is your next endeavor أو عايز في ايه questions عندك you want to answer?
So I did 3 films after this one.
Okay.
2 medium lens film and 1 feature lens film.
Okay.
The last one is Dreamaway that was shown here in 2019 in cinema. And I'm working on a new feature lens creative documentary film that's now in development. So I'm working on a new project. But yeah, I'm a bit slow because it's challenging and I have a family and I have a job, full-time job, so I'm a bit slow. But yeah, I'm happy that I'm moving on and I'm trying to produce more films. But yeah, I wish that you managed to see also the others because I think they are pretty fine.
What can we take on like censorship 9 years later after the film was produced, and how is it relevant now, like with today's censorship standards?
I'm not sure if it gets better or worse or the same. I'm sure that those people in the shoe of the censorship responsible, they are more smart. They are more aware of our languages now. They are more aware of social media. They are more aware of Zawiya and what is shown online and offline. So I think, and I'm not sure if they are more smart. That is this for sure. This put us in more limitation because as you see, I mean like this year, feathers, reach, where this as well feather لسه شفتوش أصحاب العز and what's happening around the films. So I mean like we also have a huge problem with the community censoring up the ideas, not the censor himself. So you're really challenged by 2 people that sometimes even if now showing things in Netflix, I mean like I would say like, oh, perfect. Let's show films online, no censorship, perfect. But then even people doesn't accept this. Some people, let's say, not all the people, some people doesn't accept this. So it's still a huge, big challenge, but there is another windows, I think, to explore or to try. But I think also filmmakers need to be, or any designer, any artist, as we talk here about design, you need to be way more smarter as well to deal with this. And I take Iranian cinema as kind of my campus. I see that limitation is a source of creativity. So please, more limitations. Please, more censorship. And that's my job, to challenge you guys. And that's my next film. That I'm even you are hiring your censor, I'm hiring my even critic. And let's see if it will work or not. But at least I'm trying. So that's what I would say that about censorship. So, but it's getting way more challenging. I would say way more challenging. Ask Zawiya, the people under the table, they will tell you.
I think you indirectly said it in your film اللي هو we have a problem ان احنا مش بس هم اللي بيعملوا censorship، احنا اللي بنسنسر نفسنا بنفسنا او حاجه كده.
بالظبط. We are يعني doing the self censorship يعني بشكل مش طبيعي.
بس احنا at every step of the way with specific we see the censorship. As a filmmaker, as an artist, do you see a future where فعلا we consume media that is unfiltered ولا هل المسألة دي very idealistic, very outdated?
I'm in a very kind of not the best mood to answer positively or like optimistic, you know.
Yeah.
Because we always say like, okay, like there's an elder generation. I'm sorry for the elder people around, but that elder generation with those who are like kind of, like yeah, more limited background, and the new generation are the new hope. But I have some young friends as our age who are also supporting this. So I don't see a way much better future if we say that, okay, these people will go away and now things will be much better. I don't think like it's like that. I think it will be more fights, challenges, battles, confrontations, that we need all to learn from this. I think we each of us have one in his family or his relatives or even maybe his mother that she don't accept something happening around. And you need to keep the conversation, and the conversation will keep going until things a bit loosen, a bit accepted, a bit understandable. But I don't think it is idealistic, but I don't think also it's impossible. I think it is a huge, long challenge that we need to keep fighting for each and every time.
I'm sorry بس احنا خلاص هقول كلمة واحدة. اللي بتقوله ده مهم جدا لأنه that you're saying we have to keep on talking and keep on saying our point of view and everything. Before the revolution, lots of issues in the society were taboos. We could not even talk about them. Lots of figures, religious or political, or we couldn't even mention their names, even in the society between our families and friends. The revolution made that possible, made that normal. It normalized. So things could change if we keep on believing that. I think they could change. Thank you, Marouan.
Thank you. Thank you. كل الناس اللي جت عشان